Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Hello and welcome. I'm Alex. We're here to help you connect the dots on what's moving the world of technology.
And I'm Morgan. It is Thursday, December 4th, 2025, and we have quite a day's worth of news to get through.
Let's start with a quick look at the vitals. Here in Sacramento, we're looking at areas of fog this morning, but then it should clear up to be mostly sunny with a high around 54.
And across the country, if you're in the Great Lakes or the Northeast, be careful. A cold front is moving through, bringing some snow squalls and slick roads.
Yeah, and down in the Southeast, a pretty big storm system is rolling through, so expect heavy rain. Meanwhile, the Rockies are just getting buried in snow, so yeah, be safe out there.
All right, on to the markets. Wednesday was a really strong day. The Dow Jones closed up over 1%.
That's a big jump.
A very solid gain. And the S&P 500 was also up about 0.5%, so pretty broad confidence there.
And what about Bitcoin? I saw it was taking a little bit of a breather.
It is, yeah. Down just a little bit today, less than 1%, opening around 93,000. But you have to zoom out,
Right, context is everything.
For the week, it's still up over 7%. So that upward trend in tech and crypto investments is definitely holding strong.
Okay, before we jump into our main stories, we want to give a quick thank you to our first sponsor, Old Glory.
Old Glory is just an iconic store for music and sports fan merchandise. If you have that one techie friend who's impossible to shop for,
I have a few of those.
They've got such unique gear and apparel. It's really a perfect place to find great stuff for the holidays.
And as a listener of the show, you get a special deal. Use the promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase.
Just head over to oldglory.com.
All right, let's get into it. This is our Morning Star, the Snarful Tech article report, where we connect the dots on the day's top stories.
And today we've got a fascinating theme running through everything. A war for talent, an internal design shakeup, and a massive geopolitical standoff over the future of AI.
It all starts with story number one. It really looks like Meta just pulled off a major corporate coup, basically stealing one of Apple's top design minds.
Yeah, this is a big one. Mark Zuckerberg himself announced it. Alan Dye, a huge name at Apple, is leaving to start a new creative studio inside Meta's Reality Labs.
And Alan Dye wasn't just some designer. I mean, he was the vice president of human interface design.
Exactly. Since 2015, he was, instrumental in the look and feel of the Apple Watch, the iPhone X interface, and even the Vision Pro.
The Vision Pro, their main competitor in the space.
And their latest liquid glass interfaces. He's also bringing another top Apple designer with him, Billy Sorrentino. So this isn't just one guy leaving, it's a team.
So Meta is actively trying to suck the design DNA right out of Apple.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the vision for this new studio is really telling. They say it will merge design, fashion, and technology.
Which sounds like that they want to make wearables that people actually, want to wear, not just tech gadgets.
Precisely. But here's the really interesting part, the core idea. Their goal is to treat intelligence as a new design material.
Okay, what does that actually mean? That sounds very abstract.
It means we're moving past buttons and menus. The AI itself is becoming the interface. So the design challenge isn't about where to put a button anymore.
It's about how the device behaves, how it anticipates what you need, how it shows you information without being annoying.
Exactly. It's about designing behavior, not just pixels. And Meta is betting that the team that made the iPhone feel so intuitive is the team that can make AI feel intuitive. It's an aggressive, very calculated move.
Which brings us directly to our second story, and this is where the whole narrative just gets turned on its head. Because while Meta thinks they scored a huge win, the reaction inside Apple was not what you'd expect.
Not at all. It's some serious corporate drama.
Yeah.
So Apple, they immediately replaced Dye with a 26-year veteran, Stephen Lemay. But the sources inside the company, they were reportedly happy, if not downright giddy, that Dye was leaving. Some even called it the best personnel news at Apple in decades.
Wait, what? Giddy. Why would your top designers be celebrating the loss of their VP to a major competitor? That sounds backwards.
It does. And it suggests Meta might have just acquired a problem that Apple was thrilled to get rid of.
So what was the problem?
The critique, it seems, was about his entire design philosophy. See, Ty didn't come from a career in UI design.
Yeah.
His background was in brand and print advertising for fashion companies like Kate Spade.
So he was more about how something looks on a poster than how it actually works in your hand.
That's the core of the criticism. The insiders felt he prioritized superficial looks over function.
Yeah.
It was a departure from that classic Steve Jobs principle that design is how it works.
Do you have any, concrete examples of this?
We do. The sources point to what they call the interface mess of Mac OS 26 Tahoe. It looks stunning in presentations, very bold and translucent, but in practice,
A nightmare to use.
designers said it made basic navigation frustrating and slow. And then there's the liquid glass UI on the Vision Pro.
Right, that translucent text effect.
It looked very futuristic, but it was incredibly hard to read in a lot of situations. So much so that Apple had to push out a software update to let users add a tint just to make the text legible.
Okay, that is a huge design failure. If you need an option to fix the readability of your core interface right after launch, you messed up.
It's a classic case of form over function. And it seems to highlight this contrast between Dai, who is seen as more of a politician, and his replacement, Lemay, who's described as a true craftsman, obsessed with the details.
So this whole thing, it's not a loss for Apple, it's a course correction.
It might be the best thing that could have happened for their design team. As one person on Twitter quipped, the average IQ of both companies has increased.
That is brutal. Okay, so from a design war to a hardware war. Let's pivot to our third story, which is all about the high-stakes battle over AI chips between the US and China.
Yeah, and this one centers on Nvidia and its CEO, Jensen Huang. Nvidia, just became the first chip company to hit a $5 trillion valuation.
Just incredible.
And Huang was recently meeting with President Trump to talk about U.S. export controls, the rules that stop Nvidia from selling its best AI chips, like the H200 and the new Blackwell series, to China.
Right. The thinking from the U.S. government is that we can't give our most powerful technology to a strategic rival, especially for military applications.
That's the policy.
Right.
The best chips are reserved for U.S. customers and allies,
Yep.
period. But Huang's comments after these meetings threw a real wrench in the works.
What did he say?
He basically admitted he's not even sure China would buy the chips anymore, even if the U.S. loosened the rules. He said, and this is a direct quote, "We can't degrade chips that we sell to China. They won't accept that."
Degraded chips. What does he mean by that?
He means weakened versions. Nvidia has been trying to create special, less powerful versions of their chips that are designed to fall just under the U.S. export limits, a kind of compromised product.
So they're trying to sell China a car with a governor on the engine, and China's saying, no thanks.
That's a perfect analogy. And for China to reject them flat out,
Right.
it's a huge signal. It shows they're becoming much more confident in their own domestic chip companies, like Huawei.
So they're saying, keep your handicapped chips, we'll just build our own that are even better.
It's an assertion of technological independence. Accepting a weakened U.S. chip is admitting you're dependent. Saying no is a power move.
And Huang is just stuck in the middle. His shareholders want that massive Chinese market, but the White House is blocking him for national security.
He's in an impossible spot. And he's trying to sound the alarm too. He warned that China is only nanoseconds behind America in AI and could win the whole race, pointing to their lower energy costs and fewer regulations.
And this really matters for everyone listening because this hardware, this is what the entire AI revolution is built on. Who controls the chips controls the future.
Absolutely. It all connects. Without the best chips, you have to be even smarter about design, which brings us right back to Apple and the new focus on efficiency. It's all one big story.
Fantastic points. Before we wrap up, we want to give a shout out to our other sponsor.
That's Skony, the premium golf shoe store. They do a fantastic job of blending that classic, stylish look with modern performance technology.
And just like with Old Glory, you can use our promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. Just visit skony.com.
Okay, so a quick recap of what we've connected today. First, Meta made a huge, aggressive play for Apple's top design talent to power its AI and spatial computing future.
But that so-called coup was actually seen as a huge relief inside Apple, giving them a chance to reset their design philosophy back to its functional roots.
And finally, the global AI race is heating up, with Nvidia caught in a standoff between U.S. regulations and a newly confident China that is refusing to accept anything but the best hardware.
It all shows that the future of tech is this intense battleground, not just for code, but for people and for the physical chips that make it all possible.
So the one thought we'll leave you with is this. If China does succeed in building its own chips that can match or even beat Nvidia's best, will the economic pressure from U.S. companies desperate to access that market force a total change in these export policies?
Something to think about as you start your day. We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.